The only reason that people mostly think type 2 is a big deal is because it's mostly below the belt, and people don't like that. Even though HSV2 can also be oral, it's just more rare, but it can also be anywhere else on the body. And HSV1, what we typically think of as oral herpes or cold sores, is very common below the belt and can also be anywhere on the body. HSV1 even has a special name or category called mat herpes, which came about from a lot of athletes contracting it from each other through skin-to-skin transmission. HSV1 is really common below the belt because if you have a partner who has it orally and they perform oral, they can transmit it to you that way. And contrary to popular belief, you can still transmit oral herpes when a cold sore isn't present. The way I like to think of it is HSV1 likes to be north and south, and HSV2 just prefers to be south, but both are kind of down to travel anywhere if the opportunity presents itself. So regardless of the type you have or the location, it can shed asymptomatically, which means that sometimes the virus is active even when there are no symptoms visible or present. Shedding doesn't happen often, but it happens from time to time, and we don't really know when it's happening, which is why we typically disclose to partners. It can be hard to find exact numbers on how many people with genital herpes have HSV1, but there are some studies like this one that have some interesting findings. This study concluded in 1999, but today a lot of estimations are around half or more of genital herpes cases are actually HSV1. And this is really just because of the fact that most of us engage in oral and we don't necessarily use barriers for oral. And because a lot of people with oral herpes don't recognize that it's herpes or that it can transmit that way. So HSV2 is really common because 1 in 5 people have that. HSV1 is even more common. 2 in 3 people have that. And of all genital herpes cases, we can assume that up to half or more of those are caused by HSV1. So that's why it doesn't really make sense to separate the two strains or separate how we think of herpes based on the location it's in, because it's really all the same.